Right now at 10, would a proposal by the city of Fitchburg violate the Constitution? The latest on a controversial payment.
And the political divide rages on at the Capitol as the state Senate votes to strip the governor of some of his veto powers and fires one of his cabinet picks.
Plus, how a local woman's love for body parts is earning her small business high praise from Amazon.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Ready or not, more accumulating snow is on the way.
It's expected to start overnight, will likely be a significant factor in your morning commute. Let's head right to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti now. Gary, what are we talking about when it'll start falling?
Well, it already is falling, at least in parts of our viewing area, and how much we can expect. Well, a general 3 to 4 inch snowfall is expected from Madison northward, about 1 to 2 inches south of Madison. So Madison probably somewhere in the 2 to 3 inch range when all is said and done. However, there are winter weather advisories in effect from midnight tonight through noon tomorrow for Dane County and areas to the north and east. East of Madison, including Dodge and Jefferson counties into the Milwaukee area. That advisory runs from 3 a.m. until 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Doppler track shows some light snow now starting to push into west central Wisconsin. Visibility is down to 5 miles in Viroqua, so that indicates at least some of the light snow is reaching the ground, although it's not a very heavy snow at this point. Temperatures are in the upper 20s to lower 30s. These temperatures really haven't changed very much. Well, it'll be slow to fall overnight. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be down into the middle to upper 20s. Look for light snow overnight through about noon tomorrow, and then that should start to taper to just some flurries or maybe just a little bit of mixture of rain and snow by afternoon with a high temperature of 36. Later on, I'll take a look at significantly colder weather, which is on the way not only for this week, but for next week as well.
The News 3 Now This Morning team will be live out on the roads tomorrow morning, so you know what to expect for your commute to work or dropping the kids off at school. And if you are away from your TV, reminder to download our free First Alert weather and traffic app. It customizes the forecast to your location and has up-to-the-minute traffic information. Next tonight at 10, the city of Fitchburg is double-checking whether money they gave to a local church violated the First Amendment.
Amy Reed joins us now to explain why a nonprofit says it does. Amy?
As part of its new Healthy Neighborhood initiative, the city of Fitchburg pledged to reimburse up to $10,000 for some events held by Chapel Valley Church. The city hasn't paid the church yet, and now city staff is figuring out if they will at all.
The church assured the city that the projects they were funding were going to be secular. They said on their application this will not be for religious purposes.
Ryan Jane with the Freedom from Religion Foundation said research his group did shows the Chapel Valley Church was intending to use public funds to share their religion at a community event. The church applied for the money through Fitchburg's Healthy Neighborhood initiative. The $10,000 was to be reimbursed after the event happened. The church couldn't meet on camera, but a pastor told me over the phone there wasn't any ministering at this event. During one of his sermons, which are held at a local elementary school, another pastor said the goal of the event was to bring the light of Jesus in us wherever they go. Jane said during the sermon, the pastor also encouraged congregants to minister to people there. Mayor Aaron Richardson said his staff is looking into it, doing some of the same research the foundation did, but also talking to alders who went to the church's event.
They do a great job and they're a great partner for the city. We just want to make sure if we're providing funds towards that it's not doing something that's inappropriate.
He said he's not sure yet whether the church violated their agreement or not, but regardless, in the future, he and his staff are checking the process for this program and making sure the line between church and state is clear.
If they are getting city funds, then my expectation would be that they wouldn't be promoting it at all.
Richardson said his staff will be looking at this for the rest of the week. Depending on what they find, they'll figure out next steps, which could include not reimbursing the church for this event.
New tonight at 10, Ho Chunk Gaming Madison says there will be no smoking of any kind allowed inside their casino. It's the state's only tobacco smoke-free casino, now amplifying that by prohibiting all smoking products, including vaping devices and e-cigarettes. We're learning a Dane County man may have ties to the victims in a drug cartel ambush in Mexico. The victims, 6 children and 3 women, reportedly belong to a church group from Utah. Their family members around the country are remembering them tonight.
Of the 9 people killed, we have 4 bodies to bury. There's 5 of them that we we're not going to be able to bury at this point.
These women and children were innocent and were slaughtered violently in the most horrible manner, and there's no reason that could ever be discovered to justify it.
A local man may also be related to the victims. In this Facebook post, which has now been made private, John LeBaron, who is from DeForest, says he lost 2 aunts and their children in the attack. He would not comment further about the case, saying his family is going through a difficult time and wishes to maintain its privacy. The FBI has opened an investigation into those killings.
Milwaukee police say a 25-year-old man is in custody in yesterday's hit and run that injured 2 children. Police say he turned himself in this afternoon and they recovered the suspected vehicle. The children, ages 4 and 6, were hit around 4:30 yesterday. They were taken to a hospital where the 4-year-old was being treated for minor injuries and the 6-year-old for serious injuries. And an update to last night's breaking news, a Madison man has also been arrested following a deadly crash on Highway 18 last night near the Yahara Hills Golf Course. He is 37-year-old Sean T. Jones. Police say he was operating with a revoked license for the 4th time when he hit a pedestrian. The person died from their injuries. Jones's initial court appearance is tomorrow.
Close call captured on video in Racine County. Deputies were on the scene of an OWI crash over the weekend, directing traffic and warning drivers. One driver ignored those warnings, didn't move over, and sped past, nearly hitting a deputy. That driver was also cited for an OWI, and the sheriff says the situation is disheartening and says it underscores the importance of finding a safe ride home. A major upset in Kentucky tonight in that state's gubernatorial race, separated, however, by less than 5,000 votes. The state's Attorney General Andy Beshear pulled off a victory over incumbent Republican Governor Matt Bevin. The president had endorsed Bevin and campaigned with him in Lexington just last night. With precincts reporting, Beshear pulled off the win by just 4,600 votes. That's with all precincts reporting. Governor Bevin, however, says he is not yet conceding. A busy day for lawmakers at the state capitol in Wisconsin, where Senate Republicans have approved a constitutional amendment that would prohibit the governor from using his veto powers to increase spending. The Senate passed the amendment on a 19-14 party line vote this evening. That amendment is still a long way, however, from becoming part of the state constitution, though amendments must pass both legislative houses in consecutive sessions, as well as a statewide referendum. It'll go next to the assembly.
Governor Tony Evers is cabinet nominee for the state's ag department and is out of a job tonight. The state Senate voted along party lines today to reject the confirmation of Brad Pfaff, effectively firing the governor's pick to lead the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection. This is the first rejection of a Wisconsin governor's cabinet pick in at least 30 years. Also today, the Senate unanimously approved a bill to end the sales tax that funded construction of Miller Park by next summer. It now goes to Governor Evers. The 0.1% tax has been in effect in Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Washington, Waukesha, and Racine counties since 1996. Under current law, the tax would end when the Stadium District has paid off its bonds. The district is expected to reach that point by early 2020. Former President Jimmy Carter's wife, Rosalind, says her husband is in good spirits despite his recent injuries. He taught Sunday school in Plains, Georgia this weekend. Carter suffered a minor pelvic fracture when he fell at his home last month. The former First Lady said it happened a day after he dismissed a therapist he had been working with for a previous injury. Carter turned 95 last month. A Madison physician is one of 6 finalists in the country up for an Amazon Woman-Owned Small Business of the Year award.
Customers like you have a say in the winner. Maddie O'Neill tells us why a Madison doctor is pouring her heart into her night job. Maddie?
That's right. Well, Amazon Storefronts has nearly 30,000 small and medium-sized businesses from across the country, but this Madison-based one really caught their eye. Now, just as a warning, you will see some body parts, but we promise they're cute.
I think it's incredibly meaningful.
Ronak Mehta has a lot of heart.
The job itself is pretty neat.
She pours it into her day job as a physician.
No 2 days are the same.
And carries it home to her side gig.
There's definitely days where it can feel a bit overwhelming.
Where it's more than just heart.
And so far we have 13 of them.
Ronak followed her gut.
I've got a good feeling about this.
Put her mind to it.
They're on my mind.
Pushed through the tough times.
Intestine for greatness.
And came out with this full body of work listed on Amazon.
We have everything from like the heart, lungs, kidney, the list goes on.
The plushes are called nerd bugs,
Sometimes it does feel like they're my friends, as cheesy as it sounds.
an idea that came from a children's book Roenick wrote years ago.
At first, I really thought that, like, am I the only one that's gonna actually think this is kind of neat? You know, it's kind of like dorky or cheesy.
With names like Who Put the Cuterus in Uterus? We belong together, and you're in for a treat.
I love them. I love puns.
Maybe I should leave the wordplay to her.
This one actually might be my favorite pun, the gallbladder plushie, and the pun for this one is, who you gonna gall? Stone busters.
More than quirky plushes.
Sometimes, these gifts can be kind of heavy. She was diagnosed with breast cancer.
They're a lighthearted way to teach about organs.
He had a heart surgery. He's from Canada.
And uplift those whose real bodies aren't in such high spirits.
I've had kids that get some of these organs gifted to them, whether they have newly diagnosed diabetes or, have had a kidney transplant. And it's just kind of neat to be able to be part of their stories.
Regardless of organ.
Take these guys with me like everywhere I go.
It's a labor of love.
To be able to brighten up their day when they're going through something super tough. It's really inspiring.
Now you have until Friday to vote. We'll tell you how you can do that. We have a link to the Nerd Bug store as well on our website.
What a great idea. Best of luck. Glad to learn about that.
Still ahead tonight at 10, we continue to track the snow heading into the viewing area tonight.
But first, living on the edge, the deconstruction begins for this home in Kenosha County, just feet from falling into Lake Michigan. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It is the biggest expansion of nonstop flights out of Dane County Regional Airport ever. Starting in the spring, on certain days of the week, You'll be able to fly Sun Country nonstop to Boston, Seattle, Nashville, Portland, Oregon, and Newark. That now means 24 nonstop destinations out of Madison. For now, those flights are seasonal. For a look at the flight schedule, we have more information at channel3000.com. A proposed merger of two wireless giants is getting a go-ahead from federal regulators. Today, the Federal Communications Commission approved T-Mobile's $26 billion acquisition of Sprint. The deal would combine the nation's third and fourth largest wireless carriers and potentially be an industry game changer. The merger is not final yet because a number of states are still trying to block it in court.
AT&T agrees to a $60 million settlement over allegations that it misled more than 3.5 million customers by charging them for unlimited data plans while reducing their data speeds when their usage exceeded a certain amount. The settlement announced tonight resolves a 2014 lawsuit with the Federal Trade Commission. Wisconsin had the second largest drug take-back day collection in the country. Attorney General Josh Kaul says last month the state had a total collection of more than 60,000 pounds. Statewide, 280 law enforcement agencies hosted collections. A Kenosha County home teetering on the edge of falling into Lake Michigan. It is now coming down. The process started this morning in Summers. The owners say storms last spring caused the erosion there of the shoreline. They stopped making payments on the home after they were forced to move out. The bank took it over. There's no word on when that demolition will be complete.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us, and they say timing is everything.
Well, the snow's on the way, and I think tomorrow's commute is going to be a pretty messy one because that'll be probably right about the peak of the snow. We have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for snowfall that will generally end up in the 1 to 4 inch range. Heaviest amounts will be north of Madison, but the greatest impact will be on the morning commute. We'll still see slippery roads into the afternoon, but by that time the snow should start to wind down. It's already starting to snow in the west central portion of Wisconsin. This is high resolution Doppler track, and some of that snow is starting to reach the ground. We can tell by looking at visibilities. If the visibilities are around 10 miles or greater, that means that very little, if any, snow is reaching the ground. But once you can see those visibilities start to drop, like down to 2 miles in Viroqua, that's a pretty good indication that the snow is reaching the ground there. When all is said and done, we're probably looking about 3 to 4 inches, maybe some localized 5-inch amounts north of Madison, about an inch or two from Madison southward. So in the Madison area, probably somewhere around 3 inches or so. Down towards Janesville, maybe in the 1 to 2 inch range, and then north of Madison, generally about a 3 to 4 inch snowfall. Winter weather advisories in effect for tonight, actually from midnight tonight through noon tomorrow for Dane County, including Madison, areas to the north and west. To the east of Madison, including Dodge and Jefferson counties into the Milwaukee area. That advisory starts at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning and runs until 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. No advisories right now to the south, including Janesville and Monroe. As we look at future track, the clouds are moving in. The snow will be overspreading most of southern Wisconsin by 6:30 tomorrow morning. Should be snowing pretty steadily across most of our viewing area. Then as we head toward noon, notice how the snow starts to at least taper to flurries west of Madison. Still some snow falling from Madison eastward. And then by late afternoon, most of the accumulating snow should be over with, although some flurries or even a little mixture of rain and snow could remain because temperatures will be above freezing from Madison eastward and southward, probably in the mid-30s. But then as we clear out tomorrow night with that fresh snow cover, temperatures will drop into the upper teens, and the high temperatures on Thursday won't get out of the 20s. That'll be the case again for Friday. In fact, as we take a look at 3 things that you need to know with the weather, not only do we have the 1 to 4 inches of snow, it's going to be unseasonably cold for Thursday and Friday in the wake of the snow, with high temperatures only in the upper 20s, and it'll be even colder for Monday and Tuesday of next week. As another shot of cold air reaches us, we could be looking at high temperatures in the lower 20s, nighttime low temperatures in the single digits. That could be flirting with record low temperatures, especially for Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Not seeing any snow here yet, but as we take a look at the almanac for today, it was another very cold day across southern Wisconsin. The high temperature for Madison, we should be at 50 degrees. Take a look where our high temperature was, 35. The low temperature, 29. So that's a little closer to the average of 33. Right now, we're 32. Skies are mostly cloudy. The air is calm, so there's no wind chill to speak of. As we look at weather track, this weather system is basically zipping along a pretty active jet stream that divides very cold air to the north to slightly milder air to the south. But when these weather systems come in, they kind of get strung out, and they usually just bring in a reinforcing shot of cold air. That's exactly what's happening. This low pressure system will scoot just to our south. The light snow falling to the north of it, but it'll also keep us on the cold side of the storm. And then take a look what's going on up to the north. Temperatures right along and north of the U.S.-Canadian border are in the teens, and that's the cold air that's going to be dropping southward over the next couple of days. We're not going to get that cold for high temperatures, but at night we certainly will be in the lower teens. Winter weather advisories for Dane County and areas to the north and west from midnight tonight through noon tomorrow. And then east of Madison, winter weather advisory from 3 a.m. until 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Look for skies to be mostly cloudy, occasional light snow, 1 to 3 inches by morning. The heaviest amounts north of Madison with a low of 26. For tomorrow, snow in the morning, and then that tapers to flurries or mixes with a little rain in the afternoon with a high of 36. Total snowfall 1 to 4 inches. Again, the heaviest amounts north of Madison. Total snowfall 3 to 4 inches north of Madison, 1 to 2 inches to the south. 7 to 10 day forecast. You can see what I mean as far as those cold air shots. Upper 20s for high temperatures on Thursday and Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday of next week, high temperatures, lower 20s, nighttime low temperatures, single digits. The average high temperature, like in mid-January, is in the mid-20s, and the average low temperature is about 10 degrees. So that just shows you about where those temperatures end up.
And maybe that means spring will come early. I know.
Go figure, it's a long ways off.
Thanks, Gary.
Sure.
Start of the season for Badger men's basketball and the women's team as well tonight. We'll have the story coming up at Sports.
Badger men's basketball team hadn't opened the regular season against a ranked team since 1995. Tonight, though, Wisconsin and 20th ranked St. Mary's get the season started in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Micah Potter hasn't been cleared to play by the NCAA yet, but they do allow him to make the trip, and he gets to sit on the bench, so a small victory there. Nate Reavers isn't Ethan Happ, but he's doing some Ethan Happ-type things, a driving and one here. Reavers leads Wisconsin with 22, but it goes to overtime. Malik Fitz, nice spin move and score to put St. Mary's up 64-63. Badgers have a last chance to get the lead back. Reavers gets a good look, but not good enough. St. Mary's hangs on for the win. Final score in overtime, 65-63 Gales. Brad Davison had 16. Demetric Trice, 10 for the Badgers. Wisconsin, 5 of 19 from three-point range. Badgers back home to play Eastern Illinois at the Kohl Center Friday night. Marquette gets its regular season going against Loyola of Maryland. With the Hausers gone, Marcus Howard can even be more of a volume shooter. Tonight, he's a volume maker. Howard scores 30 in the first half. 38 in the game. He becomes Marquette's all-time leading scorer. Final, Marquette 88, Loyola Maryland 53. Back in Madison, it's opening night for the Badger women's basketball team, too, as they welcome North Florida to the Kohl Center. A couple of familiar freshmen get their first taste of college basketball. Monroe's Sydney Hilliard, 11 points, 5 rebounds in her 13 minutes. And Beaver Dam's Tara Stauffacher gets 22 minutes. She scores 7 with 5 rebounds. And the final score is Wisconsin 75, North Florida 62. Saturday at Camp Randall, Wisconsin and Iowa play a college football game against each other for the 93rd time. A lot on the line in the game that kicks off at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. The winner stays in the race for the Big Ten West Championship, and the loser is out. Kirk Ferentz is the longest tenured head coach in major college football, his 21st year at Iowa. His quarterback is from Wisconsin, Nate Stanley, a senior from Menominee. There are no secrets between Wisconsin and Iowa football. Both teams know each other very well. It's going to be a good old-fashioned, hard-nosed Big Ten football game, a real slobber knocker.
You know, if you want to see actual real football, you know, you're going to watch this game. You're going to see people line up and play with good technique. It's going to be a field position battle, defensive battle, who can make the crucial stop, who can pin somebody deep on punt or whatever the case is. You know, this is what real football looks like. So it's definitely fun. You know, it's not 7-on or whatever. This is where every aspect of the game of football comes alive in games like this. That's what I mean by, you know, real football.
The first rankings of the college football playoffs are released tonight. 2 Big Ten teams in the top 4, including Ohio State at number 1 and Penn State at 4. The 2 semifinal matchups right now, Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Alabama, those are regular season matchups within the next 2 weeks. Wisconsin is 13th in the playoff rankings, Michigan 14th, Minnesota 17th, Iowa 18th. And Gophers head coach P.J. Fleck has agreed to a 7-year contract extension through the 2026 season. He's going to make $4.3 million a year. His assistant's going to make more, too. Fleck's Gophers are undefeated this season. They host undefeated Penn State Saturday. And we'll be right back.
Well, snow starting to move into southwestern Wisconsin by morning, by about noon tomorrow, about 3 to 4 inches north of Madison, about 1 to 2 inches from Madison southward. So keep an eye on it.
We'll have the latest on News 3 Now this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Do something good. Be safe tomorrow, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.